Hello and welcome to week 4 of Production Operations Management. So for this week, make sure you read chapters 7, 7S, and 8, and do your homework questions and quiz online as well as the forums, please. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to message me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So for this week, we have chapters 7. 7 is process strategy. Now there's 4 process strategies outlined in this book, and being in operations, you really need to know what strategy to use in what location, because if you use the wrong process in a certain area, you might actually hinder your production capability in that area. So being able to analyze and know what process to have in certain areas will really help the business succeed and be able to get enough product through the manufacturing process if you are manufacturing. One other area that I really wanted to touch on in this chapter is the RFID chip. RFID chip, or radio frequency ID, is something that many manufacturing companies are using, and even like most of your shopping stores have little RFID chips in most of the product, so that if you walk out the door and they forgot to remove it or deactivate it, the little alarms go off. That's basically the same thing, but that little chip can also be used for tracking parts in manufacturing, and so you can actually see the flow of your product through your manufacturing process, and operations can use that information to see where their bottlenecks are at, or even see where product is sitting too long. Say one machine is producing too much product for one widget or another, and now you just have product sitting around, and so they can look at that and kind of tweak the process and tweak what is being made on a machine, and it really can help a company get better at what they do. Chapter 7S is capacity and constraint management. Using proper analytics is the key in this chapter, and some of those include break-even analysis, cash flow, or proper forecasting. And in our organization, proper forecasting is really big, because we will forecast how much something's going to cost us, and then if it comes back and say we're under hours or over hours, well, you can have a variation or a variance report in that. But if you're always constantly having a variance report, maybe your analysis for the forecasting isn't working, or maybe you should try to do something else. I don't know, but that's one area that we really can struggle in if you're not doing the proper forecasting. And that would go with any company, by saying, well, I forecast we're going to have 100 customers this week, and well, what are you basing that on? Well, you have to have facts and data to back up your forecast, and we've covered a couple of the different ways of forecasting, but it's definitely something that we need to pay close attention to and really make sure that we're utilizing the proper forecasting techniques. And then for chapter 8 is location strategies. And one thing you'll probably hear over and over again in business is, for any new business, location is key. Location, location, location. And that is true for most businesses. However, for other businesses, they could actually, and they have in some manufacturing companies, they actually have brought suppliers onto their complex. So instead of having a supplier across town, across country, around the world, they'll bring them to the complex, and now the logistics of getting that part to the manufacturing line has been cut down by either hours, weeks, or months. And so, that's one kind of area to look at when we're thinking of location. But if we're just looking to open our own business, well, location can also be key for that, especially if you're opening, say, a restaurant or any kind of small shop or something like that. Having the proper location and having good foot traffic by a location can be key in certain areas. It's also good to look at things of like, what's your competitors? And so for our business, the KIP gym, we had to kind of not pick the ideal location, because we actually are doing a self-funded business. So we are funding everything out of pocket for this business. And that strategy works for us because in that arena, we are the only parkour gym in Wichita, but parkour is still a fairly new sport, and not very many people understand the benefits of parkour, or even whether or not they can do parkour. And so if we were to say, okay, well, we'll go to this location because it's a growing location, and we build this nice facility, and we get a loan and all this other stuff, well, we need to make sure that we have enough patrons coming through the door in order to pay for those loans. Otherwise, we're going to default on them, go bankrupt, and the business goes under. So in our business strategy, we actually looked at 2 different ways of doing it, and with the number of individuals that we had available to us in this area, we decided to go the route we did go and do a self-funding. And so we kind of had to look for a location that would fit our budget. So we found a good location that we like and could afford, and then we basically built the business up. And once we get to the point where we're sustaining a certain amount, well, then we can look to possibly move or build our own facility. So definitely location is very key for many aspects, but you also have to look at what your business plan is and kind of go from there. So anyways, I hope you had a good week last week, or a good weekend, and I hope you guys enjoy this week's reading, and please let me know if you have any questions. Have a good day, and God bless.